I'm Yogendra and she is
Anushka.
so she's my daughter.
And this is Chichu.
Yes, this is her friend Chichu. So we are going to try and do some fun with Scratch. So Anushka, I heard you have been doing some Scratch programming recently.
Yes.
Are you loving it?
Yes.
Cool.
I've made 2 games.
You made 2 games? Wonderful. So do you think your friends can learn how to play the games or how to make the games? Is it easy?
Yes. If we pay
Mhm.
attention and learn it, then we can do it.
Great. So let's try and make something today, and
Yes.
let's see if you can learn a new concept, a new Scratch animation tool, and let's see if your friends can also learn from it. Should we
Okay.
start?
Yes.
Okay, let's start. So I told you about a Scratch animation tool which I have prepared to show you, right?
Yeah.
So let's look at it and let's see how much of it you will be able to do on your own. So this is a tool, and this tool is created to show a concept called golden ratio, which is based on Fibonacci number. So we'll talk about that. So this is an animation tool which I have created for you, where it creates various kinds of repeating shapes, and some of these shapes you can also see in nature very often. So do you remember any of these repeating shapes you have seen somewhere?
Flowers.
Correct. Flowers. Anything else?
The pine.
The pine cone. Correct. And leaves on a tree. And
Yes.
even shells, even they have the same concept. So I found a great video, and this video explains how the golden ratio is arrived, and how various things in nature, right from leaves to shells and even cyclones or waves, everything is related to something called a golden angle. Now, before we start doing programming, let's discuss a bit about Fibonacci numbers. So do you remember we had talked about Fibonacci?
Yes.
Yes.
The numbers are like if we start from 0,
Okay.
then we have to add with 1.
Okay.
So it is 1. We have to add the number
Mhm.
with the
Previous
number
number. Previous number. So
behind it.
first number will be 0, second will be 1, third will be 1.
1,
After that, 1 plus 1, 2. 2 plus 1,
3,
3. 3 plus 2, 5. Now 5 plus 3, 8.
8.
As we said, we'll start with 0 and 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add the previous two numbers. So, and then copy the same thing down a few times. So I've taken about 40, 41 numbers, so which is 40 numbers we started with the first blank. Now there is something called a ratio between two numbers. Okay, you can't divide by 0, so we'll skip this row, we'll skip this row as well, and from this row let's start dividing the current number by the previous number. Okay, so it is 1 because 1 divided by 1, and then I will copy the same formula for division to all the remaining numbers. As you can see, the ratio keeps moving. It starts with 1, then goes to 2, then to 1.5, then 1.6666, 1.60, 1.25. If you come down, what you will realize is the ratio is almost same as 1.1803399. Now I have restricted it to just few digits, first 6 digits or 7 digits. Now if we keep adding, the ratio is something around 1618 kind of a stuff. So that is 1.161818. It keeps repeating. So what scientists found long time back is, a circle has 360 degrees.
Yes.
Now if we divide the 360 degrees into two numbers in such a way that their ratio is your Fibonacci number ratio or golden ratio, which is 1.16182, the two numbers or two angles that we get are 137.5 and 222.5. So that is the relationship between Fibonacci numbers and the golden angle or golden ratio. So this is the golden ratio and this is the golden angle. As you can see, I have done the calculation of dividing the, if I click here, I'm dividing the second angle by first angle and I'm getting very similar to what we have here. Okay.
Yes.
So now, based on that, what scientists have found out is in nature, this particular ratio is available at various places. So, as you can see, the same ratio is available at various places. Now, the only way to check whether this is true or not is to try it ourselves. Okay, so now today what we are going to do is you are going to create a scratch program from scratch. Okay, and we are going to do it step by step, and let's see how far you go in next 30-40 minutes. Okay,
Okay.
let's start. What we are going to do now is start a new project, name it, and let's see if we are able to create some animation. Okay,
So, what project are we going to make?
we are going to make Anu's golden ratio. Okay, okay, and let's see if we can create an animation. So let's get this funny cat out of the way. Okay, we don't need this funny cat. Let's
Yeah.
create a flower. So let's create a petal. You can create a circle. Okay, go ahead, create a circle, a big one. uh okay, yeah, this should be good enough. This should be good enough. And let's, okay, correct, you remember that. So we have to create one of the points, we have to convert one of the points into pointed, correct. No, one should be enough. And let's give it a good color. Let's fill it with a gradient so it will look much nicer. Let's use this one. And okay, let's use a gradient which will go from up to down. Okay, go ahead, select that. Okay, and what colors do you want to choose?
Yellow and orange.
Yellow and orange. Okay, go ahead. Okay, yellow, fine, and orange. Go ahead, go ahead. Yeah, looks good. Okay, and now click outside. Great. So now we have our leaf. This black background is not looking that nice. So you will need to select it first. You you will need to select that petal first and then do that. Okay. It doesn't know what you are making the change for. Okay, perfect. Great. Now let's go back to
I just wanted to make this a bit.
wanted to make it a bit big. Okay, go ahead. This should be fine to start with.
Yes.
And just to get a good animation, what you can do is you can see this dot here.
Yes.
Let's align our petal exactly on that dot.
I
Let's
think
go to
we
the
need
code.
to. I think we need to reduce the size of it.
Let's see if is it
Cause
looking too big.
yeah.
Okay, let's make it small. So we'll have some more space to create the animation. And this is where you can see how big it's going to look. Okay, and let's move it to 0 0 position. Okay, perfect. So now let's go back, and in this sprite itself let's write some code. Okay, so what's the first thing that we do when we write a,
Let's
you want to
write
name the sprite?
Yes.
Okay, what do you want to call it?
I think we should call it.
Can we call it petal?
Yeah.
Okay, let's call it a petal because then we can make flower out of it. Now when we start coding in Scratch, what's the first command that we need to give? Do you remember?
We have to take the event
Event when this is,
green
so
flag
what this is going to
first.
do?
It is going to control everything on the green flag.
Okay, so whatever happens after clicking the green flag will come here, right? And you need at least one event which gets controlled through this green flag so that it knows that it has to start working. Okay, now if I have to create animation, what do you think I will need to do? Let's say if I have to create 5 packets, what I'll need to do?
Then the controls
Okay,
and repeat.
okay, okay, let it be 10 times, fine.
Okay.
We want to, so after clicking we want it to repeat 10 times. What do we want to do? But we have not told what you're going to do.
I want it to go in a round way.
Round, but before you go in a round way, what you will need to create, it is just one packet. If you want it to create
Clone.
10, yes, clone. So what do you need to say?
Create
Create a clone of myself. Go drop it there. Now let's see, run it. What happened?
It is making the clone under itself.
It is making the clone under itself, so we would need to ask it to not do that, right?
Yes.
So how do you move that clone around?
I think go to and we have to make. I think we have to make a variable for it.
Even before making a variable, we'll get into variables later, but even before making a variable, so what do you want to control? You want to control the position of the clone that is coming out.
Yes.
Correct? How do you do that?
Motions.
Yes, motion, but on, would you do it on the main sprite or would you do it on the clone of the that sprite?
Clone.
Correct. So what do you need to do?
Event.
There is an event called when I create a clone. That is way down. It's here. When I start as a clone,
It is in the control.
it's hidden in the control. Correct. So let's use that. And now what you want to do? Now let's use the golden ratio. Okay. We don't want to move it anywhere. We only want to rotate it. Okay. So what would you do? Where will the rotate? Where will the rotate be?
Mm, it would be in the circular angle around this.
Correct. But in the code, what would you need to pick to make the change?
Motion and operators I will use.
Correct. So let's start with motion. Let's see what is available. Okay, you need to turn. That is the command, right?
Yes.
Let's drag and drop it. Perfect. And how many? What is the angle we decided? We finally need a particular angle, right?
I think it was something
130, 137.5. Okay, let's try with that. Later on, we are going to try and changing that, and let's see if or what shapes others make. So it is, just double click on that and write 137.5. Perfect. So now let's see what it is doing. Let's start again. Oh, what happened? It just created one. Why is that?
forever.
Yes, it is creating it forever.
We have to tell him to do it forever. It is making a clone of itself only once.
No, it is making so many clones. So even though it is making so many clones, what is happening is,
I got it.
what will you do? But if you turn it forever, it's continuously happening. So every clone you are doing, it is turning around and around. So what is the problem? The problem is it needs to remember what was the angle it used in the last run for the last clone. So the angle for the next clone should be 137 plus the previous angle. So there is something called a, if you want Scratch to remember, that the previous clone had used which angle. What is it that you will use?
Variable?
Perfect. So you use something called a variable. So let's create a new variable called angle. Okay, say enter. Now you can get rid of this forever. Okay, and get rid of that as well. Right click and delete. First of all, whenever we create a variable, what we need to do? We need to set it,
Yes.
because Scratch needs to know when the program starts what is the, and we are also showing the angle here. Okay, so let's see if it's going to work. Correct. So we are setting the angle to 0. Now for after creating a clone, before deciding the position of the clone, what we would like to do? We would like to set its variable. Correct. Change the angle by 137. Correct. This is the one. So instead of using 137
I
here,
thought we have to use the operators for it.
we will use the operator, but not here right now, because change by is already an operator called plus. So we don't need it here. We would need it at another place. I will show you where we need it. Okay. And
What angle by?
same angle 137.5, and then we will tell the program to use the variable angle. Try that, because now it is not going to move it by 137.5. It is going to let's do a dry run. So there is something called a dry run. Okay, so if we click, it's going to set it up to 0.
Yes.
See, something is happening. Correct, something happened. Now let's do a dry run even before that. Okay, click stop. I will tell you what is a dry run. So when a programmer writes a program, even before the program is run, it checks how the program is going to run. So let's talk to the program. Okay, so when I click the green button, set the angle to 0. Repeat 10 times. For the first time, create a clone of myself. Whenever I create a clone of myself, change the angle by 137.5. So first time when you run, the angle will be 137.5. Correct? You turn and then go back to the repeat loop. Correct? So now it will be second time we will come into the same angle. Now what is the value of angle? 137.5. It will add plus 137.5. Okay, now everything is happening so rapidly that we are not getting time to read what is happening. Correct? So let's add weight somewhere. So let's add 1 second wait after every repeat. Okay, yeah, you can do you can do it before the clone. Okay, now first angle to the, see, you can see the angle changing. Yes, after every second. So after 10 times, what will be the angle? 137.5 multiplied by 10, 1375. So the last one was placed at 1375. But the circle is, you got it. So it is multiply. You added 137.5 10 times. So the multiplication is 1375. Getting it? Yes. Now what is happening is the shape is not looking that great. Do you know why that is happening? There are 2 or 3 things we can do. First is, every shape that is getting created on top. Let's see if we can move it to back. Can we do that? I think it is in looks. See, you have go to front layer, back layer. Let's use that. And where will you put it? Maybe here. Correct. Okay. And let's move it to black layer. Okay. And let's see how it looks. Okay. Something is happening. Now Yeah, but do you know the reason why this is happening? Because it is not everything is happening below one another. If we can move each of them in a slight angle,
Maybe we have to add move.
we have to add move, correct? And now you understood what is happening, so we don't need the wait, right? So we don't have to keep waiting for 1 second every time. Perfect. And now let's go to move,
Mm,
and let's move 10 steps. Okay, fine.
well, I think here.
Correct. Let's start
Let's.
again.
Mm,
It's again doing the same thing. What is happening? Let's try changing a few things in the sprite. Okay, so I'm going to the sprite, and let's change the angle of the sprite to point it in this direction. This is the 90-degree direction,
yes.
and let's try again. It's same, correct? Now what else can we do? Now let's make our, so even though it is moving, let's also make it grow a bit. The bottom one will grow, correct?
Okay.
Even though it is repeating, it will grow a bit. So how will you make it grow?
I will make a variable.
You will make a variable again. Okay, so every time it will grow by some amount, correct? Okay, enter. And again we'll need to set it to grow, set it to 0. Okay, and let's also change it by, let's make it 50. And we don't want the angle to change. What do you want to change?
Grow.
And where will you use the grow? Enter. And let's go to looks. Okay, that's where we can change the size. There is something called change the size. Okay, and when we are changing the size, let's ask it to change it by the grow percent that we have told.
Okay, so
Variables again, and use the grow, correct. Now let's see what is happening. Oh, something is happening now. Now is it looking slightly more interesting?
yes, slightly.
Slightly
I
more
think
interesting.
50
50 is too big.
much.
Okay, so let's change it.
I think it must be by 5.
Okay, and
Now I think as repeat we have to do.
you want to make more repeats?
Yes. So
Okay.
I think later.
Let's make it 20. Okay, and let's see how it works. Nice.
10
Now
is I think
10 is
too
too
less.
low. Okay, let's make it what, 50 now. Let it grow by, like, let it make 50 copies out of itself.
Okay.
Okay, and try again, test it again. Ooh, nice. So something is happening, right?
Yes.
Now what is happening is, I think our shape is becoming so big, it is going out of our frame.
Okay. So.
So let's make it smaller. Let's make it grow by only 5%, and this 5 is percent. Okay,
Okay.
enter, and let's try again.
This will work well.
Wonderful. So let's open it full screen and see how it is working. Okay, open it. Nice. So you can see a flower.
Yes.
Let's try something more interesting.
Oh.
Okay, so
Okay.
minimize it, And let's do the same trick with leaves. Should we create a leaf? So let's
Yes.
make one more sprite. In
I'll
this,
just
in the same sprite, let's create one more costume. Okay, and okay, you're just going to change the color.
no.
You're going to delete it. Okay. Now let's make a green leaf.
Okay.
Now to make a green leaf, again, let's
Um,
make a circle.
maybe I understood it.
You got it? Okay,
Yes.
do it.
Let the color be orange till right now.
Okay.
Oh,
We have not selected the circle. Okay.
make
Okay.
a circle. Go on this.
Points. Okay. So you're going to make it double pointed.
Yes.
Got it. Select it again. Yeah, just click on it again. Now click the point. Oops. Control Z. No, undo here.
Undo.
Okay. This pointed here. Now let's close this. Let's stop it. It's distracting you. So let's stop it. We'll come back to that again. Okay. Now make it. Now you can use the normal pointer. Okay. And let's. Nice. Let's make it green. Great. And you can just make a small line at the bottom to show a stem.
Okay. Outline.
Outline will be again green. You can pick the same color. There is a color picker here. Nice. Pick it up. Okay, perfect. You got it. Okay, you want to make it lighter?
Yes.
Interesting. Oh, you want to make veins or you want to
Yes.
make a stem?
I want to make veins.
You want to make veins? Let me help you with that.
Uh,
Okay, I can make it slightly faster. So this is one and we'll make it bigger. And we'll make few more. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4.
that I think that's
This is enough.
Yeah.
And then we'll also make a stem. I want to make a bigger stem. Use this color. So I'll make a stem like this.
Mm,
I will pick it up, increase its width, and then stick it over here. Okay, so this is our leaf.
yes.
Now this leaf is too big. Okay, now we'll group it, make it smaller, move it here.
So group is a new thing for
Yeah,
me.
group is a new thing. So what we did is the whole shape that we created, we grouped it together, and then we moved it here. And now let's run it. Let's see how it's looking. Nice, but it's too big.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's make its size to 30% to start with and run it again.
Mm, 20 must be.
10. Okay, and what we can do is we can move it slightly farther and change its angle. We can do so anything that we do changes various things. Okay, and for
Wait,
this
I think
leaf,
I must do outline for this.
do you want to do outline?
Yes.
Okay, so let's make a
Black. Black.
okay, let's make a black outline for this.
Uh,
But that's only making,
ungroup. We have to ungroup first.
or we can just select this individual one and make a outline here.
So that is also possible.
Yes.
Yeah. Now that means the leaves are
Looking
looking,
nice.
yeah, looking individual.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Mm,
So So
Yeah.
anytime we change, it keeps changing.
Ooh, this is perfect, maybe. Oh, it got too small.
Yeah,
Oh, so
we can give it to mommy to make vegetable. See,
copy the
you
vegetable.
keep changing
Ooh.
it around axis. It keeps looking funky. Okay, so we made two of these. Okay, so if I run it with a petal, this is how it looks. If I run it with a
Leaf.
leaf,
Oh,
this is how it looks.
yes.
Nice. So we did our experiments
Yes.
and
Can
we are able to make interesting shapes out of Fibonacci
um
numbers.
will you now show what have you done in
Right.
that project
Sure. I can
so
I can
I
now
can
tell you.
know
Yeah.
more things?
Now that you have reached here, let's save the program.
Okay.
Okay, and share it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can
Names.
give it to your friends. We will open it and we'll be able to see it again.
Mm,
Congratulations,
huh.
you made something very interesting. Now you know it's not that difficult. It takes a bit of time,
Huh.
but if you keep trying, you are able to do lot of things.
Yes.
Now I want to also show you how I created my animator. Okay, and
Okay.
what other options I have added. So
So
let's look at that. Okay, so in my animator, I did few additional things. Okay, and what I want you to do is to look at these, and whatever you want to add in your program, you can go ahead and add it. Okay,
okay.
so what I'm doing is by default, I'm starting with a clean slate, and then I have a auto generate button and a mute button, and I have created various shapes. Okay, so let me
Okay.
turn off this auto generate, and what we can do here is I've taken so many variables from the user. I'm also able to set it up randomly, but I'm also giving the user control to change it. So let's say
Oh.
if you change it to shape 2, and if I start, so this is the shape that I had created, we
Oh.
can use it. Okay, now
So
if I don't want it to so let's move this x and y to 0 and rotate to 0 as well, and I want it to grow, and I will say start. Okay, so this was the shape. Now if I want, I've created a very interesting shape
ooh.
called Fibonacci, the name of the person who has invented this. There are a few other shapes. I created a peacock feather,
Oh.
and I also created a shell kind of a thing. If you use it here, it looks like a shell. But if I displace it a lot,
It looks like a moon.
it looks like moons. And if I don't let it grow and displace it, then it starts looking like drops, water drops.
Yes.
Okay, so there are so many things that you can do, and then what I've done is I've given a random button. If you click that button, you can just sit back and relax, and it will keep creating various shapes on its own. It will
But
take any
it
of
is
these. Yeah,
only once it is going to make it.
yeah, currently it is making it only once.
Oh, and if I on the auto
Yes,
generate, then
if you click on the auto generate, then it will keep on repeating. You can just sit back and relax.
these
Okay,
patterns are very interesting to look at.
nice, right? So let's see uh, how much of these you are going to make. You don't have to do all of these, and even I didn't do all of this in one sitting. It almost took me 3 to 4 days to keep growing features one by one, almost about 10 to 12 hours it took over the weekend.
Oh.
So you don't have to do everything together.
Hmm.
Whatever you have done, so we'll stop mine and check yours. So whatever you have done to start with is great. Okay, so this is one pattern, and then I can go and change my costume to this and start again with this. So between flower and tree, you've created two. You can always randomize things, you can give control, lot of things you can do. Okay,
Okay.
so let's see in next few days. If you want to keep working on your project, you can always look at my project, you can look at the code that I have used, take inspiration from it and do on your own.
Okay.
Don't copy it, and you can't even copy because my
Huh.
names and your names are completely different in terms of variables. But look at the concept, come back here and do interesting stuff. Okay, so I hope you have learned some new tricks and you have enjoyed Fibonacci and golden ratio.
Yes.
Okay, okay, let's close the session today.
Yes.
Okay,
Bye.
okay, bye bye, bye guys.